Suriname. Let's see this country now. As we can find it already, you don't have a clear red border delimitation. That means the country has some disputes. But first, as always, we're gonna look at some numbers, and then with the help of the Google Street View and some 360, hopefully we're gonna see a much better clear image how those people actually live in this country. So let's start with the numbers. In this country called Suriname, I think I pronounced it right, they are living around 640,000 people and still rising, growing rate pretty much, I would say, very stable. Now, 1955, only 225,000 people living in this country with a growing rate about 2.8%. There will be roughly 6,000 people. Migration on plus 222. Median age around 17 years old. One of those nonsense fertility rate 6.3, and 52% of the population living in an urban area. Now in 2025, population grew tremendously. Now there are around 640,000 people in this country with a growing rate about 0.85%. That will be roughly the same, 5,500 people. Migration now and then on the minus 1,000. So things are not going that well here, let's say. Median age around 28 years old. Fertility rate much more manageable, 2.2. And urban population around 62%. Now, in the future, they project that the population is going to rise at the level of 733,000 people with a growing rate about 0.3%, and that will be roughly around 2,200 people. Migration is still on minus at around 600, 700 mark, and median age around 36 years old. Fertility rate now they got below replacement, it's 1.9. 65% of the population living in an urban area. Life expectancy right now it's around 74 years old, which is very high. Females 77 and males 70, which is pretty decent. Infant mortality rate 10.5 and death under age of 5 12.2. That means the medical system it's pretty much absent in the country. So more interesting facts that I can find that was something like this. Look at this. 42% of the population it's Asian Surinamese, whatever they call it. 27% is Indians and 1.7 Chinese. And the official language it's Dutch. So it's very interesting to see a Chinese speak Dutch, but I guess it is what it is. Now 48% of the population are Christians and 22 Hinduism. 13% Islam, and the rest of them not that many. They're pretty much spread around. Now let's look at the pyramids. As you can see, pretty much from the age of 0 to 50, 52, you're gonna have a male surplus in population, and after that a female surplus in population. The base it gets narrow, so that's gonna show some interesting facts in the future, but I believe the population probably most likely they're not gonna go more than 1 million people. Economy in this country, well, small population, obviously small economy. So look at this, GDP nominal 3.4 billion US dollars, which is pretty much nothing, and PPP around 11 billion dollars. Look at this, GDP growth minus 15% in 2020. Ooh, they got hit really hard by the pandemic, and minus 2.7 in 2021, 1.3 on plus on 2022, and 2023 2.3. So they kind of bounce back, let's say, but not exactly how they're supposed to be. Now GDP per capita nominal 5,500 US dollar, which is pretty much nothing, and PPP around 18,000. GDP by sector, and agriculture is 10%, industry 36%, and services only 52, as shows in 2012. So yeah, things might improve by now. In 2020 they have the inflation around 22%. My god, that's absolutely insane. They export a lot to Switzerland, 40% of their goods, which I'm not sure exactly what they're doing there, but they export gold, so I guess that kind of goes in Switzerland. And also they import a lot from China, Germany, and USA. Pretty interesting. Again, they speak Dutch, so I expect to see some interesting fact there. Now, corruption, even less than used to be in neighboring countries, as we saw with Venezuela and Guyana. So let's see by the name Suriname, where exactly they are. Suriname 40 points. They are still in -1. They are still perceived as more corrupt, as you can see here, but for South America I would say pretty goddamn decent. Now history, pretty interesting again. We're gonna see some nice facts here. Look at this. There was pretty much a Dutch colony and sometimes the protection of the United States. So I can expect to see a very nice architecture in this country, especially the Dutch one. At some point it was British, then again the Dutch again. But it is interesting to see how those people actually take from their history in Dutch. Which one? Let's see it now. Let's go. Again, we don't have that many 360s or street view, and for some reason it doesn't work that well. Now it's a bit better. Just marginally. So you can see they have some border disputes here in the country, which is pretty strange. Unfortunately, not that many 360s or street views. Not sure exactly why. Again, most likely when you have those low numbers, it has to do with the government or maybe low interest, but I highly doubt that we have other countries with much less populated and we saw much more interest, or at least much more of those 360s. That actually is gonna give you a much better picture how those people actually live. And here we are deep in the jungle and we still have some facilities, which looks pretty good. They are probably one of those hotels or resorts. I'm not sure exactly how they promote themselves here in the middle of nowhere, but people seems to see them and probably they're doing some decent business, otherwise they'll be out by now. So they're doing pretty well, let's say. Especially here in the middle of nowhere, running a business like this. They have some small populated area here, but not something insane. Here a bit more, but I am curious, everybody just live off those hotels or what? It's kind of interesting to see in the middle of nowhere having a resort, a hotel, a pension. And they don't look that bad, I have to say. Look at this, just enjoy the life. Pretty nice place, I would say. I'm not sure exactly how they're doing with disease here, or if something bites you, you're gonna die 100%, or you may have a chance to survive. No idea, but at least the landscape, it's pretty nice. Look at this. Every one of those probably are tourists, but maybe, or migrants, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly. They seems to have, again, migration is on the minus and on the pretty much entire history. This is the recent one, so with a few exceptions, but things are still how those people arrive here from India, from China. It's a bit of mystery. I didn't look that hard into it, so yeah, I wasn't exactly that interested because it's a small country, small population, small economies, nothing that appealing. But if you know more than I do, just please leave a comment and maybe you can resolve the mystery, I would say, for who are actually interested in this kind of things. Here on the border town, it's pretty much a border, and again, even the satellite images doesn't do that well of the job showing how people living in this region. See, the interesting, it's very low, but somehow they managed to do a decent job. Now for that 5,000 whatever 6,000 US dollar per capita GDP, such a small population, things are not looking that bad, I have to say. Expected again a bit worse. Not that many people. Interesting in these lands. Let me see for a moment. I don't like this land. There should be one land here. Cars pretty good. Nice spaces between them, so they don't exactly jam it. Here it's a bit jammed together, but yeah, they have some decent space in some areas. But here, look at this. Probably they have all those long lands. They are one property. It's kind of weird. I don't know who spec this. Let's say you just have the entire land. Probably not. Who knows? Yeah, again, not small, but also it could do much better than this one. So clearly an urban department, they need some improvement with the population that's still rising, not that much, but still on the rise. Probably you're not gonna see that too soon. This is 2022, so very recently. So yeah, don't have that many 360s. Oh, that's a nice house here, but again, very small land. Not that many 360s or 3V, so just probably recently they open up the country to this new tech, let's call it like that. Here there is no paved roads. They only have pavement on this main one and wasn't exactly a good job judging by how they look here. Probably they retained some water in that part there. Probably every single one of those is from the drone. I hope not. Okay, you have it from street views. For such a bad economy in the country, they seems to have a pretty nice housing. So yeah, probably it's gonna be the same story, like people choosing to work outside and then send the money back, or maybe they're doing better than reported. I don't know. But some houses seems to do pretty decent. The houses itself is pretty decent. I mean, look at it. It's absolutely huge one. The front yard not so much. And oh, this is 2019. Where is the house disappear? Pretty interesting. Okay, another one. That's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, this garbage here not so much. They seems to do pretty decent in some area and pretty bad in others. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly how should I put them. Those straight lines just shows that those villages, those towns, whatever you want to call it, got recently. I mean, when I say recently, I mean the last 50 years, develop. Not so bad, but also I try to move away from this kind of straight lined buildings. Just doesn't seem that appealing. Not sure exactly why you want to have a lake in front of your house, but I don't know, maybe it's one of those, we see that in Guyana the same. Maybe it's something traditional here. I have no idea. Judging from above, again, they seem to see that they can live a bit jammed together even when they have such a big lands here and not that much population, but probably they like it that way. I don't know. Some people enjoy the safety of the herd, or whatever they want to call it. Here again, they seems to have some floods. I'm not sure exactly if they intentionally flood them, but it seems to be some floods here, not something intentionally. But yeah, again, this short line on the beach, it doesn't look that appealing. Probably that's why you're not gonna see that many houses built here. They have this very there. Probably there it's cleaner. Here they have very moldy. It just looks not appealing at all to just take a bath here. So yeah, probably that took a huge toll on the economy, of the tourist economy. Guess it is what it is. I don't think you can actually clean the ocean like that, but hey, maybe they can find a way in a time. Houses here, they are pretty interesting. Some of them very nice, and by the way, that's a very expensive car. This is April 2025, so very recently. Some of the houses look pretty nice. I'm not sure exactly how they can afford to build those, but hey, some areas, maybe some help, because it's some USA flag here. And a Turkey one? That's Turkey? No, I don't think so. Feels like that's China. Not sure exactly what's happening here, but pretty strange. Let's see. Yeah, from the urbanization point, don't like it that much. It's just a lot of houses jammed together. Even like I say, they have such a small population, they still did not manage to make it look better. And I don't see that. Okay, maybe this one that's a bit American to me. I want to see that Dutch influence. Probably you're gonna see those nice buildings, I don't know, something like the center of the town or something like that. Clearly they didn't learn nothing from them, so they didn't want to continue that legacy of building nice. Even Dutch can go in Netherlands. You're gonna see a lot of people jamming together there, but that's a different story, especially in the towns. Outside them, you're gonna see some nice small spread around community. Pretty much every single land it's used there. So yeah, here they have some nice houses. Yeah, those bars doesn't inspire me confidence, I have to say. Yeah, again, bars on the windows, just not a way of great living, let's call it like that. From above, yeah, pretty interesting. I see something here. Maybe here we're gonna find a bit more nice architecture. No, not even close. That looks a bit European to me. Maybe we are at the right place. Let me see a bit more. From above, it looks pretty much like any Pacific islands that we check. Yeah, I don't think they keep that nice architecture that they could have it. They choose to go for this nonsense mainstream one, but that's pretty much the same for every country. It's just a house like this is just very boring. Especially it's a multiple level store houses, just doesn't look that appealing. Here, yeah, the sea just looks like a wasteland, just doesn't look appealing at all. But yeah, I kind of get it, that's not their fault, it's just the way the sea is, I guess. Yeah, not that many people, but look how densely packed they are. They're living here in this region. Not a nice place, I have to say. Wherever we go is pretty much the same image. Yeah, the only countries that I saw an improvement was in Chile and Uruguay, when they actually, from what I can see, and I believe that they actively trying to move away to a better way of living, a better way of building new towns, new neighborhoods, new way of a better way. Phew, that's a pretty nice house here. So some people living pretty well here. I'm not sure. I don't see that 5,000-6,000 US dollars per capita. Even though like 100,000 people living very well and the others just struggles. And I just happen to see those nice houses, but the land is still not that appealing. We have those cannons here. That probably is one of those old properties from the Dutch Empire. Judging by the stars, we saw those type of building or forts, whatever you want to call it, in Netherlands, probably even in Belgium a bit, I don't remember exactly, but in Netherlands definitely we can see that. So that they keep from the old empire, but unfortunately that's it. They didn't want to do better than that. They don't want to improve more on that. So yeah, they could done much better. They have a good teacher here, I would say. Can listen to the Dutch. They know how to build things. They're doing pretty well in their countries. Even I think it's the country with the least inequality in the world. I'm not sure. Maybe they lost the title. Maybe they keep it. I'm not sure exactly. But there is definitely a lot to learn from the Dutch. And seems they have a chance here, and they didn't do that well. Oh dear. But they seems to do better than 6,000 US dollars per capita. They seem to do much better than that. Let's check this one. I mean, look at it. It's a decent house. See, this one is pretty nice. I like it. Not everybody has a nice one, definitely, but some of them in the house department doing pretty decent. Even in the car department, not so. This one, yeah, not so well, but this one not so bad. Maybe it could be some, I don't know, financial paradise for Dutch. I'm not sure exactly, but they seem, again, not that many people, and they seems to do pretty decent. Not extraordinarily well, but still, there are not that many people in the first place. Like I said, look at this. 640,000, rising again, but not that much. Just, yeah, pretty. Hopefully we are not outside the border. Let me check again. Those countries, they are pretty sketchy. They have this lake here. Oof, let's check this one. And the quality of the 360 not so well, but hey, there is a lake. Paramaribo, that's the capital name. See, that's the only thing that I can see Dutch. I'm not sure if they have anything else Dutch here. I wish I can see more about this one, but okay, we have some of them here. Let's see. Yeah, a bit more land for some of them. So they sit in a house department. Not so bad. That's pretty decent. Those are nice. Those are really nice with the pool and everything. So yeah. I'm not sure exactly how that can. That 5,000 per capita. It doesn't show a lot of canals. So again, very Dutch. Very Dutch way of doing things. So maybe they learned something about from them. Yeah, in housing department they don't seem to struggle. Ooh, look at those. I don't like those everyone the same, and it's such a small place, but pretty not so bad. See? Yeah, they like those canals. Yeah, in housing department, some of them, they are doing pretty well. Not everybody again, but some of them, they are doing pretty well. And they speak Dutch, by the way, in case you're wondering, in case you forgot. Yeah, some of them are doing pretty well in the department of housing. What else can we see? Let's see this one in the middle of nowhere here. Oh, it's on the lake. Okay. Not sure about this garbage here, but yeah. Not so bad. Again, most of the population is concentrated pretty much in the northern part of the country. In the southern part, not that much you can see. Ooh, we have an airstrip here. Maybe they're gonna see a lot of tourists from Netherlands. Who knows? They speak Dutch here, so it's gonna be appealing to visit this part of the world so far away. And they speak in the same language as you are. Yeah, it'll probably be interesting to visit it. So probably a lot of tourists from Netherlands. But still very poor on the paper, at least. In the real life, yeah, probably most of the people are still living very poorly, but some of them, which is not exactly a small portion, are doing pretty well. Those are highly equipment. These are equipment for, I don't know, taking pictures here, monitoring something, I'm not sure. Those are definitely European equipment. Let's call it like that. Pretty good. Very strange country, I have to say. Oh, let's check this one. It's like a resort or a village. It's a nice beach here. This probably is more cleaner than we saw in the sea. Yeah, maybe some tourists here. Not sure why they put this here. Probably they have some crocodiles here and they're trying to save. I'm not sure exactly, but doesn't seem too appealing to go in the water even there. Yeah, see, that's problems that you don't expect. The roads, this one is pretty good, and keep in mind this is 2025, so very recently. Housing here, well, I see worst, but oh, look at this one. That's pretty decent again. Yeah, maybe the construction material is gonna be that cheap. I'm not sure. Cars here. Ooh, this one doesn't do that well. I don't know how can I end up with such a rust and it's still running. Yeah, pretty something. That's a pink truck, whatever. Yeah, in a housing department, this seems to do pretty well. Again, maybe there are cheap materials here. I'm not sure. It's pretty decent. Again, especially for like when you think like, oh, 5,000, 6,000 per capita. Not that much of economy. Also, not that many people. Seems to do pretty well. This is 2025. Very recently. All of those are very. This is one doesn't look that well. I'm not sure exactly if it gets flooded, yeah, but doesn't look that horrible. Yeah, they're living a bit jammed together, not that many trees around the house. You can actually see them from above, but keep in mind, small population is growing, but not that much. But yeah, a growth, it is a growth. Some places are pretty nice actually. I mean, look at this, they're gonna end up around 7, so they're gonna put probably another 100,000 people until gonna start going down. Yeah, for a small economy, they seems to be pretty happy. Let's call it like that. It seems to be pretty happy, especially outside the main city. Doesn't seem to have that many worries, in my opinion. Like I say, from what I saw from above. Cars in 2016. Ooh. Yeah, pretty decent. Pretty decent. We have some street food here. Let's go a bit ahead. Yeah, one of those nonsense trash that we saw. Oh, now it's from the inside. Okay. Yeah, those nonsense trash cans, trash bin, whatever you want to call it. No idea what they're using, but seems to be a very likable way. I click there and he moved me here. Okay. 2016, very good quality for almost 10 years ago. Phew. Top notch. Looking pretty good. Yeah, I kind of like it. Kind of strange, but I kind of like it. It seems to be very cozy. It doesn't seem like people are gonna have a lot of worries here. Ooh, we have even some ancient. I don't think it's ancient. It's probably from the Dutch time or maybe British. There was some sort of a British very shortly. Very, very shortly. Yeah, that's like I said. Seems to be cozy. That's the feeling I'm getting here. Oh, okay, this is even more cozy. I mean, see, when you have good, decent, not especially great houses, but decent housing, things are not looking that bad, even though the economy is not doing that well. See, that's why I'm saying it's extremely, extremely important to have a very nice house. This one doesn't seem better days. It's important to have a very nice house and a very independent level, so you don't have to worry about bills and all that stuff and food. And once you have that, with a good educational system and medical system, we can have 1,000 per capita. I think it won't matter that much. You have the nice life as an individual, you can pull through a lot. Let's call it like that. Yeah, it's interesting, this country, I have to say. Again, not that many people, and probably a lot of them, like I said, see migration living every year. A lot of them probably working outside the country and then send money back. And this is calculated by those who live in that year. So if you have the precedent years, or no, probably like 50% of the population living probably outside the country. I want to check the unemployment rate. Yeah, 2020, 7.4. Pretty high, but it's pandemic year, so yeah. I would say that that's probably the Indian community, who knows. I would say that probably a lot of people just send money from abroad and this is how they get by. Maybe, I'm not sure, because they seems to have pretty nice things here. Not that many paved roads, I guess, yeah, and that, I know exactly, the medical system not so well. But maybe they improve it. The problem is, again, that growing population, I would say, but it's not that much. A lot of canals, so clearly the Dutch loves those things. They know how to do it well, and here they, at least they learn that from them. Okay, they have some things that they learn, and probably they do it very well. But yeah, I mean, it could be better. It could be, I don't know what those flags are. I see them, probably some voting, or maybe it was some election going there. A lot of those canals, yeah, these tires, it doesn't look that nice to me. They like canals though, so yeah, they did that well from the Dutch. Canals almost everywhere. Yeah, not that much to see, and for maybe in the future we're gonna start seeing more of those 360 and some street views. This one, yeah, doesn't look that well. It's just not my taste of building, but they have some good examples too, so yeah, at least they have that. And this is like a new community, so probably those houses are not older than, I don't know, 50 years, maybe even earlier than that. But still, they could done a much better job. What else can we see here? Oof, a lot of cars there. Exactly what's happened. Let me see this one here in the housing. Oh, it's actually inside the house. Okay, maybe somebody wants to sell the house or what? Very basic house. This is concrete, not so bad, but not that appealing either. Yeah, buying a house here, maybe as a Dutch, have a lot of money and just want to have a house here, maybe. I don't know exactly how the prices are here. Clearly it's gonna be much cheaper than we find in Netherlands, but still, maybe for someone like that could be a nice investment. Maybe those houses that we see, those nice ones, they are actually from foreigners, from Dutch, maybe, not sure. Who knows, maybe even those high businesses are still from there. Hopefully you're gonna see from inside. Oh no, it's the same. And we check this by the pool, it's gonna be the same one. Oh, not really. This looks like a hotel to me, or a resort, or maybe, you know, some gated community maybe. Yeah, it could be an option, you know. A lot of those nice houses are from actually Dutch citizens that have a vacation home here. That's pretty nice here. Ooh, I really like this one. That's the best I see so far. Okay, you see a nice fence, nice green stuff there. That's great. Fortunately, we don't have a street view to can actually check them even better. But yeah, see, this is how the land's supposed to be, like that big, not living in this very small cramped one. You have a lot of land here, not that much population. Definitely you can do much better, and definitely can do much better than this. I mean, look at this, it's just not appealing at all, not so much. Okay, what else can we see? Ooh, we have a street view here. Let's see these new neighborhoods that are recently built. Again, they love canals. The fact that they put already bars at the windows, at the doors, that just show me just pretty much living in a prison. Look at this. Clearly they have some here. They don't even mount it yet, probably, but clearly they probably most likely they're gonna have some problem with crime rate. Yeah, does not do that appealing to me, I have to say. Yeah, nah, it's gonna be probably made by one developer, but doesn't look that great. Even though there are no construction, very small lands, just look how many new houses they have. And the population, yeah, it grows, but not that much to build that much, which is kind of strange. And definitely I will not buy a vacation house looking like that, not even close. And a vacation house here, now I'm thinking, well, they don't have a nice shoreline, so why would you want to buy something here? It's hard enough to visit. Pretty interesting, I would say. Yeah, it's not much that we can see. Okay, this, I think this late. Oh, I thought for a second it's fishing, but it's not. Yeah, doesn't seem to look that well, but in the same time, again, houses, some of them pretty nice, which is pretty strange. Yeah, this one doesn't work. I don't want to bother trying to make it work. Let's see this one. I want to go there. I want to check it right there. And now you could just move someone else. What the fuck? Some big arrows in this Google Earth. That looks like a nice resort here. I think it's a resort, I'm not sure. If it's somebody homes and looking like that, phew, good for you guys. But I don't think so. Yeah, they burn something. Those people are taking dinner here. I don't know, maybe some Dutch school camps. Could be. Could be. I have a feeling that we check that. Yeah. Okay, so I guess not that much, unfortunate to see. Thankfully, they're gonna change that, because I can see that they're trying to those are pretty much almost every single one of them brand new. This one is 2014. Okay, so not every single one of them, but most of them, they are very new. So who knows, maybe in a year or two we're gonna see much more of those. This is 2025, as you can see here. Yeah, it's not a pretty picture, I have to say, overall. Yeah, some nice houses each and there, but not enough to glorify them. Yeah, that would be the way we said. Nah, small country, small population, small economy. Dutch influence, which is, there is something at some point, but not enough. Ooh, I like this one. Look at this building, very nice. Interesting streets here. I like this one. Oh, and this one looks pretty nice too. Oof. Looks a bit American, looks a bit Dutch. I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking here. No, it looks nice. This one actually, this strip looks pretty nice. Oh, this one not so much. Yeah, okay, I think we saw enough in this country. It's just not something extraordinary, but still not the worst, I would say. Less corruption than others, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, population is still a bit too high for the economic prosperity here. And probably by, say, the next century is going to be different. But this century, and at least by the half of the century, I don't think they're going to improve that much. So yeah, I think that's Suriname. I think I pronounced it right. Not so bad, but not that great either. So yeah, check the other videos, and until the next time, leave a comment and say how things really are here if you're watching from this country. See you next time.